We've all been there, right? You run a standard HDMI cable, say past 15 meters, and you're asking for trouble.
Oh, yeah. Starkles, dropouts, the dreaded black screen.
Exactly. But honestly, just getting a signal across a big room isn't the real headache anymore. The problem now in professional AV is bandwidth. We're trying to push these massive 4K signals, 60 frames a second, and do it over copper wires that, let's be honest, were never designed for this.
That is the bottleneck.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get a video to play. It's a whole other thing to get a perfect professional-grade image to a projector 100 meters away with zero latency.
Which is why we're looking at this Kramer TP-594TXR today.
It's a high-performance HDBaseT 2.0 transmitter, and its spec sheet is basically a list of solutions to an installer's worst nightmares.
Okay, so let's get right to it. The headline feature is the range. It says it can handle 4K at 60 hertz with 4.4.4 color all the way up to 100 meters. That's, what, 330 feet?
And that 4.4.4 part, that's the critical detail here. A lot of other extenders, they'll compress the color down to 4.2.0 to save on bandwidth.
Right, which you probably wouldn't even notice if you were just watching a movie.
Probably not. But if you're in a boardroom showing a spreadsheet with tiny text, or maybe a CAD drawing with fine red lines on a black background, that compression makes the image look fuzzy, washed out.
The edges just bleed, the chroma gets subsample.
Exactly. So this device, keeping it 4.4.4, means you're preserving the full integrity of the image. For high-end corporate or medical stuff, it's just non-negotiable.
But wait, 4K at 60 hertz is a huge amount of data. How is it cramming all of that down a simple twisted pair cable for the length of a football field without any lag?
It's using something called DSC display stream compression. It's a very low-level, visually lossless compression standard.
So not like a YouTube video getting all blocky?
No, not at all. It's using predictive algorithms to encode the stream really efficiently. And the key thing here is the latency. It's near zero.
Which is so important if I'm a presenter at a podium. If I move my mouse and the cursor on the big screen behind me takes half a second to catch up.
The presentation is ruined. It feels broken. This feels instantaneous. And the device is smart about it. It has intelligent compression handling. It shakes hands with the receiver, checks if compression is even needed, and just applies it automatically.
Oh, okay, so the video is rock solid, but these signals aren't just pictures anymore. This thing is pushing a lot of other data down that same cable, that superhighway, as they call it.
It really connects the whole room. It's carrying Ethernet, so your smart display has an internet connection.
Yeah.
But it's also carrying RS-232 and IR control signals, and it's bidirectional.
And for anyone wondering why on earth we're still talking about RS-232, which is basically tech from the 60s, it's because it's bulletproof, right?
It's the one thing pros truly trust. Wi-Fi control is great until the network gets congested. RS-232 is a direct line. It guarantees that when you press System On, the projector actually turns on.
Speaking of control, the audio features caught my eye. It has something called Intelligent Source Forward Audio Routing. It's a mouthful, but it seems to solve a really specific problem.
A huge problem. So let's say you're showing a video clip, but you want to talk over it with your own microphone. Normally, that needs a whole external audio mixer.
Right.
This unit lets you plug an analog mic right into the transmitter. It overrides the audio that's embedded in the video. You're basically mixing the audio at the source.
That is incredibly useful. And on the flip side, it handles ARC, audio return channel. So the apps on the smart TV at the far end can send their audio all the way back to the main speakers in the rack room.
Total flexibility. Audio goes where you need it to go.
Let's talk about the box itself, because these things usually end up in some dusty, cramped drop ceiling or a hot rack.
Which is why the design is fanless. It's a Megatools aluminum enclosure that basically uses its own body as a heatsink.
So no buzzing fans to distract you during a quiet moment in a presentation.
Silence is key. And it supports PoE power over Ethernet. It can get its power from the receiver at the other end of the cable.
That's a lifesaver. It means I don't need to get an electrician to install a power outlet in the ceiling just for this one box.
You got it. It just simplifies the whole infrastructure.
We have to talk about the price, though. I'm seeing it for around $876. I mean, that's pretty steep for a copper extender.
Yeah.
At that price, why aren't people just running fiber optic cable?
That's a valid question. And yeah, fiber has basically infinite bandwidth. But fiber is also fragile. It's difficult to terminate in the field. You break a fiber tip and you're in big trouble. Copper is durable, it's easy to work with, and this is the key. Most buildings are already full of it.
Ah, okay.
You're paying that money for the ability to use the cheap, rugged cable that's already in the walls, but to get performance that really does rival fiber.
So it's a bridge. It's a device that pushes copper to its absolute limit. 4K, 60 frames, full color control, audio, everything, over 100 meters. It's really a signal management hub.
It is. It makes sure the signal you create is the signal that everyone sees, no matter the distance.
It does make you wonder, though. We're using these incredibly complex compression algorithms just to keep these old twisted pair cables relevant in a 4K world. Are we finally reaching the physical limit of copper? Or, as we move towards 8K, will the software just keep getting smarter, letting us push even more down that same CT6 cable we installed 10 years ago?
That is the billion-dollar question for the next decade of AV infrastructure.
Something to think about. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.